almost 2.5 million entrepreneurs versus 5 million employees. Gender breakdown, 36% women, 64% men. Largest group of entrepreneurs by age, 46 till 50 years old, 15.5%. The average salary for an employee in 2024, $1,917. And for an entrepreneur, well, that's a bit trickier to pin down. It could be several times more or even less. As a beginner employee, you usually have the security of a minimum wage, which in 2024 is set at $836 in my country, which is $5 per hour. Most of the time, you'll make more than that, especially in the capital where the average salary is already $2,494. And if you're ambitious, you could climb the career ladder pretty quickly. But here's the catch. After a few years, you'll likely hit a ceiling. No matter how hard you hustle, there's only so much you can earn. On the flip side, as an entrepreneur, there's no minimum wage. In fact, you probably start in the negative because you've invested something to kick things off. And here's the kicker. You might be drowning in debt for years. But if things go right, your income has the potential to skyrocket. And best of all, there's no ceiling to hit. As an entrepreneur, the sky's the limit. But wait, it's not just about the money. Is it better for you to be an entrepreneur or an employee? Even as an employee, there are perks that an entrepreneur can only dream of. And yes, you can still make some decent money as an employee. But money isn't always the biggest difference. Most young people don't get the chance to learn this. In many places, the belief still stands that the only road to success is to get a degree, land a cushy job, typically at a multinational corporation, where profits flow who knows where, and work there until retirement. The idea that you could build something of your own or start freelancing isn't really discussed in school. I didn't realize until I was 35, after getting a degree and slogging through 12 long years in the corporate grid, that you don't have to be born an entrepreneur. You can decide to become one whenever you want. My name is Mirek, and I juggle both a 9-to-5 job and my own businesses, so I can compare both ways for it completely objectively. So let's get back to the first difference, which is money. For the exact same work, you'll actually get paid more as an entrepreneur than as an employee. Think about it. Your work has to be profitable for your employer too, well, otherwise, why would they even bother to hire you? Simply put, when you're an employee, someone else is usually making money off you. But when you are an entrepreneur, you are typically the one making money of others. And here comes the harsh reality. Just because you work harder as an employee, bring in new businesses, or earn more money for the company, doesn't necessarily mean you'll see a bigger paycheck. Of course, there are exceptions, and heads of those, but when you're running your own business, every improvement you make directly impacts your income, and you'll feel the benefits almost immediately. On the other hand, as an employee, your salary is, in quotation marks, secure. If you have a bad month, your paycheck typically won't take a hit, most of the time at least. And I say secure because, let's be honest, there's never a 100% guarantee, even as an employee. There's always a risk. The only difference is how the risk is distributed and who ends up feeling it more. The employer takes more risk, of course, so there's no question why they deserve to profit. As an employee, you usually have a fixed salary agreed upon for a certain period, let's say a year. And it stays the same whether you're giving it your all or just clocking in for your 8 hours. But at the end, you're paid for the work you do, not for the value that work brings to the company. Your employer takes on that risk. But don't be a fool. If you do a shit job, you will feel it in the long run. You can make good money in a corporate job as well, but you'll likely have to fight your way up to a management position. And let's be real here. That path isn't for everyone. And just when you think you've got it figured out, taxes come into play. But before I reveal the harsh truth about the tax system in my country, make sure to hit that like button if you're enjoying the content, and don't forget to subscribe. That way you won't miss out any of the awesome videos coming up. Now let's dive into those taxes. How taxes work here in the Czech Republic is, well, let's just say, at the very least, interested. As an entrepreneur, you have a perfectly legal way to pay the least amount possible in contributions from your gross income. Let's say you do the exact same job as an employee and as an entrepreneur with a value of $4,500 per month. Notice I say value because you'll never actually see this full amount. If you're an employee, the company first has to deduct $830 for social insurance and $300 for health insurance from that amount. Then you'll also contribute yourself, paying another $240 for social insurance and $150 for health insurance. But that's not all. You still have to pay $385 in income tax. In the end, you're left with just $2,595, which is just over half. This is brutal, right? As an entrepreneur, you can apply something called the expense lump sum, typically 60%. This means your official profit is only $1,800 and the rest is considered business expenses. From this amount, you pay only $155 in tax, $259 for social insurance, and just $124 for health insurance. So as an entrepreneur, you're left with $3,962. That's about $1,367 more. Crazy, isn't it? How about you in your country? Is it better to be an entrepreneur or is being an employee the smart choice? Drop me a comment below and let me know. When it comes to taxes, it's clearly 1-0 for entrepreneurship here. But some might argue that as an employee, you're saving more for retirement. For those who are not from Europe, money paid out in retirement age by state. And honestly, I'm not so sure if that's the best investment. What if you managed to build a company that you could one day sell for several million or even tens of millions? Wouldn't that be a better retirement plan? And let's set aside the financial aspect for a moment. As an entrepreneur, whether you like it or not, you'll end up improving in a wide range of skills. It's like an investment in yourself. You won't just become an expert in what you're selling. You'll also have to get better at how you sell it, at communication. You'll need to keep at least a basic eye on accounting, and you'll wear many hats like HR manager, marketer, and more. Or you might decide to keep the company but step back, letting others take over the day-to-day management. You could then draw a salary or even set up a form of passive income. On the other hand, don't get swept up by the wave of young, successful entrepreneurs who claim to have made millions by the age of 16 without needing to study or anything. A lot of those stories you hear on YouTube are true, but many of those people admit that they got incredibly lucky in the beginning. There's no guarantee that if you put in the same effort, you'll see the same success. Entrepreneurship is not just an investment, it's a big risk. There's a chance you could build $1 million company, but there's also a significant chance it won't work out. You see hundreds of successful people sipping cocktails on the beach, talking about how they sold their companies. But how many do you think tried and didn't make it? You won't find those stories on YouTube. No. One thing's for sure. If you never start your own business and stay an employee your whole life, you'll end up building, well, not much at all. You'll just get your pension. Will we even get that? Well, who knows, maybe, if we are lucky. Let's be real. Luck plays a role in everyone's life, but how it impacts you can be very different depending on the path you choose. As an employee, if you're lucky, maybe you'll get a big bonus, a promotion, or a pat on the back from your boss. But even if luck isn't on your side, you'll still get your paycheck every month, even if your performance is shit. But rather don't try it. And that financial stability is something a lot of people value. As an entrepreneur, luck can be a game changer. Well, sure, hard work, dedication, and persistence are key. But sometimes you just need that little extra push that only luck can provide. Maybe it's just meeting the right investor at a networking event, or even just launching your product at the perfect time. But if luck doesn't swing your way, the stakes are higher. At the end, can you imagine what happens when you have a bad luck as an entrepreneur? But the key is to put yourself in situations where luck has the chance to find you. Whether that's networking, staying informed, or simply being persistent. Fortunately, this you can do in both situations, either as an employee or also as an entrepreneur. You have total freedom. It's often said, you know what you need to do as an entrepreneur? Yes. The correct answer is you don't have to do anything at all. It's all up to you. What kind of hours do you work? Will you work from 6 to 12? Will you work 20 hours a week, 30 hours a week, or traditional 40 hours a week? Will you take 4 weeks of vacation or 2 months? Will you work from an office somewhere, or will you give it 6 months from Bali? You have absolute freedom and nobody cares. Do you have a terrible customer who's mentally depressing you? You just get rid of him. And I don't think that's gonna work in corporation, is it? Did you set up a system or process at the beginning of your business that you need to change? And that's it. It's your business. Have you tried changing a process as an employee in a multinational corporation? The only thing you have to do, of course, is make a living. But how much you want to earn is up to you. Don't you need to go to parties 3 times a week and spend money on alcohol? You only need a bicycle instead of a car. Then you work 15 hours a week and that's it. But again, not to sound so clearly for business. As an entrepreneur, the idea that I am somewhere out enjoying 2 weeks off and someone is paying me for it is absolutely insane. Paid vacation, sick days, meal tips, canteen, team building, company laptop, company mobile, maybe even a company car. Does it sound familiar? Nowadays, companies are racing to attract new skilled employees, and even 5 weeks of paid vacation doesn't appeal much anymore. There are companies that even entice a 4-day work week at full pay, and all for just doing your job. We often see all this as a standard as employees, but as an entrepreneur, you have to dream about all of the above. By the way, do you know what the first problem of an entrepreneur who came from a corporate environment is? Don't you know? He's going to have to figure out where and how much to buy a cell phone. As an entrepreneur, you have maximum freedom, but forget about all the benefits you get in a multinational corporation. So how do we chop it up? Is it better to be an entrepreneur or an employee? Well, there is no easy answer. Think of it like a coin. The coin is called a livelihood, and heads is a business, whereas tails is an employment. So every coin has 2 sides. But what I can 100% recommend, there is a third option. Set it up like I did. The stability of a corporate job plus a simple business that could turn into something bigger someday. Even that can be put together. And how about you? I'm interested in your opinion. For today, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. See you in the next one.